get it done, guys.
He will have a championship 4 spot.
These drivers know what's at stake, the most pressure they've faced in their career.
Only one more opportunity to lock into the championship 4.
You never know what's going to happen in this playoff format.
Cole Custer and Tyler Reddick going at it on pit road.
If one of the guys behind us in the round of 8 win a race, it totally shakes up everything.
Pressure definitely at an all-time high as they come to ISM Raceway. The final opportunity to lock themselves into the championship 4. Out in front of the field, it's the 2020 Toyota GR Supra, which is the official pace car for today's Desert Diamond Casino West Valley 200. Want to take a look at today's starting grid, brought to you by John Deere. Out front, it will be Christopher Bell, the one that is locked into Miami with his Texas win. And Cole Custer already has 7 wins on the season, all but locked into Miami on points. Chase Briscoe and Tyler Reddick are going to make up row number 2. And Tyler Reddick, one of those big 3, so it will be a fight there. Justin Allgaier, Zane Smith are going to make up row 3. Allgaier actually has said that we can chat with him before the green flag flies. Dial him up, will you, Jeff?
Hold on 1 second. They're talking on the radio. We don't interrupt them. Hey, Justin, it's the Booth Boys. You got a moment to talk?
Yeah, just go ahead, buddy.
Man, I want to know, you have an 18-point cushion. I want to know how that affects your race strategy for today.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it can affect us. You know, we got obviously a good cushion there, but that's points in both stages. A guy could be in front of us. And also, too, we are 4th, so, you know, we got to worry about one of the guys that aren't in the top 4 currently winning this race. And I believe that there's 4 guys behind us that could easily win this race today. So we got a good brand professional agriculture Camaro. I'm really proud of the guys and what they brought me for a race car. And, you know, today, unfortunately, isn't going to define our season, whether we make it or not. But, you know, the easiest way to know that we're in at Homestead is to go out there and win us a race today, and we'll be in good shape for next week.
We showed the fans these crazy restarts and how you can use that apron. What's your approach and your strategy when you come to the starts of the race?
Yeah, I thought I was going to start on the outside there until the very end of qualifying, and obviously now we start on the inside. But, you know, the truck race last night, we saw a lot of movement, saw a lot of guys, you know, I think at one point they were 6 wide getting into turn 1 on a restart. So, you know, I don't expect anything different. You know, there's a lot of really talented race car drivers with fast race cars today, and I think managing those restarts and not putting yourself in a really bad spot is going to be super important. If we can do that, I think we can pass these guys on the long run. We got a really fast race car, so that's going to be the goal for the afternoon.
Well, thank you for spending time with the fans. Good luck today, bud.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it, guys, as always, and happy Veterans Day on Monday to all those out there that are serving and have served.
Steve, who do we have the pleasure of riding with today?
Well, we just talked to Justin Allgaier. You'll see he has the Sunoco onboard camera and the helmet cam. This would be a great view. You talk about those crazy starts from a driver's view. I think they'll only be crazier. We also have the Toyota onboard camera for Christopher Bell, who'll be starting on the front row in the 1st position. The 98 of Chase Briscoe starting in 3rd with the Ford Performance onboard camera, also carrying a helmet cam. So thankful to these drivers and teams, giving the fans such great views all day long. Another Ford Performance onboard camera will be on Austin Syndrich, the driver, the number 22. He has the bumper cam. His goal today will be having this camera make it all day, try to keep his bumper clean. And then the 11 of Justin Haley with the leaf filter on board. He also has the challenge of trying to keep this front bumper clean all day long.
High atop the Mobil 1 Peacock pit box is Dale Earnhardt Jr. All right, Jr., what are you expecting to see in 200 miles here?
Well, we're going to have a few restarts. First start of the race is always pretty important. But with this particular racetrack and where the start-finish line is, these guys can cut that tri-oval. And we saw it in the truck race. We've seen it here last year. We've seen it in March this year. Restarts can be pretty hairy going down into turn 1. The guys in these cars are going to be using the apron all the way 4, 5, 6 wide even. And that's going to cause a lot of problems. And I think in this particular race, when guys are desperate, you're going to have to be selfish. Just how selfish are they willing to get? Some of these guys, it may be the only way they can work their way into that round of 4. They're going to have to be really, really selfish, and it might cost some of their friends, cost some of their friendships out there on the long run, but if that's what it takes to get to the Final 4, you have to do it.
right, we'll see who is selfish. Obviously going to be keeping our eye on the start of the race and the restarts.
Yeah, well, the start for sure. Something about this racetrack and the start-finish line of the location, we've seen some penalties. So just to remind everyone, at the beginning of the race, the initial start, it's very simple. The pole sitter must be the first car to the start-finish line. It's only that for the initial race. This right here will be the 20 who actually took the outside, so he has to be the first guy to the line.
Let's listen in. Actually, we're about ready to come to the green here. Chase Briscoe back a few rows. It is the 20 of Christopher Bell. Cole Custer in the 00. It's an elimination race from ISM Raceway.
Immediately, Cole Custer went to that bottom, trying to shortcut it. That messes up your entry. Entering turn 1, though. Can't enter at the angle you want to. Look at that 3 wide.
All the way on the outside. And Zane Smith in the 8.
Well, that's the issue of cutting the dog leg. Going down there isn't the issue. It's getting back on the racetrack. Now here we are in 3 and 4. A little more banking here than the under end of the racetrack. Tyler Reddick in the 2 kind of gets cut off by the 98. He'll try to turn
contact. Austin Syndrich into the side of Reddick. Again, everyone fighting. The only one that is safe through to the championship 4 right now is Christopher Bell.
Look at this action right here. Justin Allgaier turned, making it 3 wide. Contact again.
Rough early on in this race.
Get nervous seeing those tires bang against each other, Steve. You've seen a lot of cuts like that.
Christopher Bell still fighting for the lead right now as Cole Custer in the 00 is caught up to him on the inside as they enter turn 1.
An impressive move by the 00, a little faster through the bottom of 3 and 4. Got to the quarter panel, but look at Christopher Bell going all the way up into that darker area, that traction compound, get a little extra grip. And because of that, has success, will take the lead or keep the lead from the 00.
Christopher Bell's car yesterday in practice was, without a doubt, the fastest race car. Cole Custer bringing it to him.
Cole Custer, Christopher Bell fighting for the lead. Positions also being fought for back here. Justin Allgaier trying to hold off Chase Briscoe. That's for 4th.
And Briscoe tries to carry that speed. See Allgaier, left side tires below that yellow line. Briscoe up there in that traction compound in the middle of the corner, making it work.
He is going to make it work, and he makes the pass. So he takes 4th away from Allgaier. Allgaier drops back a position. It's Christopher Bell, Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, Justin Allgaier, the top 5.
And that battle for the lead is continuing to stay pressure-filled. Christopher Bell has it. Cole Custer wants it.
Side by side behind the 7. Here comes the 7 of Allgaier once again. He looks to the inside of Briscoe.
Briscoe's making that outside work really well. But as he gets down into turn 3, this is where, see right there, missed the bottom. That was inches, but that allows Allgaier to drive underneath him. Briscoe's got to be a little more disciplined. We talked about it, Steve. Young drivers, high pressure situation, got to be a little more disciplined getting into the corner.
And then Allgaier chose not to take the shortcut. You see he stayed mostly on the racetrack, and I don't know if that's going to cost him, but his entry was definitely not very good. The 8 of Zane Smith has got to the bottom of the 7. I have to ask myself, you think that's a plan by the 7? Try not to abuse your race car. Going through that straight of the dog leg is very hard on a race car.
Yeah, we saw Chase Briscoe get a little bit loose there, but Justin Allgaier was giving him plenty of room. Look at how wide they get as they go into turn 1 once again.
This isn't something we've seen in the past where Allgaier actually is better off on the outside. He couldn't clear Briscoe on the inside. Now he's on the outside. He's going to use the advantage that Briscoe had on him, going to reverse it and pass him on the outside in 1 and 2.
You see this battle right here for 4th up front. Nothing's changed. Christopher Bell has about a half a second lead on Custer, who has about a second on Reddick. But this battle back, they can't get away from each other, Rick.
No, they are definitely nose to tail. And now Allgaier has put about a car length in between himself and 5th. And that's Chase Briscoe and Zane Smith. Zane Smith in the 8. Doesn't run the full season. Has never raced here in the Xfinity Series, and a little more contact there with Briscoe.
I think Briscoe got in the wall right there. We were on board. It's hard to tell, but it seemed like something major happened.
Well, the right side tire looks like there's no more Goodyear on the lettering. Looks like definitely contact with the right rear tire.
Take another look.
See right here that side-by-side battle. Briscoe just using too much racetrack. Corner exit. Thought he was in trouble. Tried to get out of the throttle, but just too late.
Going around this mile racetrack
and Rick,
ISM Raceway.
We talked about the size of the moment. These drivers so young. Chase Briscoe in the 98, only 24 years old. Behind him, the 22 of Syndrich, 21 years old. They've all raced for their lives, but not on this stage, not with this pressure, not with the opportunity in front of them, and it seems a little uneasy for all of these guys early.
Parker, it seems like Chase Briscoe, the 24-year-old, is maybe being a little aggressive to start this race.
Yeah, he's really struggling there, Rick. And, you know, they've struggled with that car all weekend, struggling in practice, changed everything on it, then qualified top 3. They were surprised, but I talked to him just before he got in the car in the grid, and he said, I'm worried about the rear end being out of the racetrack. We fought that, and it turned so well in qualifying. I'm just worried we won't have rear grip, and he's been struggling really loose. Just came across radio and said really, really loose once again. So struggling with that rear end grip in the 98.
It was a double, really, I think, after he hit the wall.
Yeah, and so I talked about having to have more discipline, getting on that bottom, getting on that yellow line. When the car is loose, the back of the car is trying to spin out, and when you turn the wheel, getting into the corner, you can't turn the wheel because that makes the back end want to spin out more. Now the only thing you can do is slow down, slow your entry speed down, maybe get some front brake dialed into it to get some rear pressure off of it and just slow down and get there.
Oh, the 22 with a huge slide of Syndrich.
What a save Syndrich has as he almost was dirt tracking it through the turn there. And now Michael Linnette's going to try to pounce on that.
And Michael Linnette saw an opening and just drove in there and took it.
And that's what Michael Linnette has to do. Look on the left side of your screen. You see the points at -40. Michael Linnette has to be thinking, be the aggressor. Upset everyone else. A win is the only path for Michael Linnette. And oh my goodness, that looks like contact.
Every time we go on board, they hit it something.
Here comes the 18 of Riley Herbst coming into the mix as well. Dave.
On lap 2, Austin Syndrich nearly spotted that 122.
Around goes the 18. Herbst is going to get into the wall. Caution comes out. Riley Herbst just coming into contact there. Michael Linnette was there. And we have seen more contact in the first 14 laps of this race than maybe we've seen in 200 laps before.
It's only 32 laps to go before the end of the first stage, right? So you got to go. They dropped the green flag. They know the intensity level has got to ratchet up quickly. See right here, Riley Herbst underneath the net, drives in, and just never gets to the bottom of the racetrack. When a car is on the outside of you, you want to drive in deeper, right, to get next to him, but you actually have to lift a little earlier because your corner angle is messed up. You got to lift a little earlier to get to that bottom. He just tried to carry a little bit too much speed getting in the corner. Now he's loose. And really nothing you can do at that point. Rick, Steve said it great. These are young drivers, right? This is not Sunday's race. These guys want to be drivers on Sunday, but they're developing those skills. And these things, it makes those guys on Sunday make this look easy. It's not. You know, all those small little things that you have to do, they come with experience and they come with time.
Yeah, I mean, Riley Herbst, 20 years old, making his 9th start of the year. So full time next year. So, you know, he needs laps. This is definitely going to hurt. This is the type of race that you would like to run all the laps to learn for next year in that full-time ride. He may complete the laps, but with a damaged race car, definitely not in contention.
Driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. They've had great success in the Xfinity Series. Right now, Christopher Bell out front, leading the Joe Gibbs Racing Brigade. Custer Reddick, Allgaier, Zane Smith in the top 5. Today's aerial coverage is presented by Coca-Cola. A beautiful look at ISM Raceway. And on the Mobile One Peacock Pit Box, Junior, are you keeping a running tab of all the contact that's taking place on the track?
Yeah, it's been pretty wild so far, and I expected that. I didn't think, we'd see the same race that we saw here in March. There's a lot more at stake. Guys willing to take more risks with the race cars, and they know they need these positions and have to battle these guys that they're racing for the playoffs. Steve, you talked about Riley Herbst and the mistake he sort of made down in turn one, got himself turned around, and how he has to get all the laps. And while that's great, and he's going to get a lot of opportunity next year to run all the races, and he's going to get a lot of advice on what he could have done there. Nothing's going to make that lesson sink in. Nothing's going to teach this kid more than having to drive that wrecked race car for the remainder of this race. I've done it 100 times, and he's going to run every lap wishing that he might have done something a little different there. So he's learning the rest of this race about what to do next time he's in that situation underneath the car down in turn one.
I didn't think of it that way, but maybe that lets the lesson sink in even more. To Dale's point, that he has to continue to ride around. And Jeff, you said it the best. These young drivers, I'm not picking on Riley. We've all made mistakes, and he made one there. And I'm sure that's something he'll avoid the next time he comes here, or at least try to.
Christopher Bell has chosen the outside line in that 20 for the restart. Cole Custer will be on the inside. Tyler Reddick and Justin Allgaier making up row 2.
Hold your breath. There they go.
They've all got to come together, though, as they come into turn 1. Bell with the advantage. The fight for second is on. Allgaier trying to take it away from Cole Custer.
And your vision is not deceiving you. They are running on the apron of the racetrack. That is not the surface.
Allgaier quickly, with that battle with Briscoe earlier, learned that upper groove can work. A little bit too high that time. Doesn't need to use that much racetrack.
And anywhere on the asphalt is fair game here at ISM Raceway. That's why you're seeing them on the apron. You're seeing them run through the dog leg. Riding along with Allgaier as he tries to clear that 0-0, and he will with Cole Custer.
And Rick, this is a big day for Justin Allgaier, not only because he has a chance to be part of that championship 4, but just something has to go right for the 7 car this year. 5 wins a year ago. A year later, winless. Still has a chance to go to Miami, but I think they want to prove that it's more than just a chance at Miami, right? They belong, as we have the 98 really high.
I was talking with,
that's the way to make that lane work.
Make it work. I was talking with Allgaier yesterday, and he said, we've just got to get rid of this bad luck. And I looked at him, I said, Justin, you have had 15 top 10 finishes in a row. And he goes, you know what? Statistically, it's going to look like we've had a great year. But personally, I want to win races. So top 10s, they don't do a lot for me. I want to win races, and so it might be a disappointment if we don't get to victory lane in 2019.
Rick, we talk about a lot of the young drivers in the Xfinity Series. Well, one of the elder drivers, Justin Allgaier, still only 33 years of age. But for him, he's not here for top 10s. He's here to win. And while top 10s are a nice stat, that's not trophies. That's not filling his trophy case. This is a driver that had a shot in all the different series. He's found a home here at Junior Motorsports. He wants to deliver wins and a championship.
And Kelly, the 7 right now, running in that second spot. He's a position away from where he wants to be.
Yeah, you guys talk about the success he's already had throughout the playoffs without that win, which is why he said this race, whether they qualify for Miami or not, will not define their season. Now, he came in with that 18-point cushion over the cut line. He said he was not worried about being able to maintain that points lead over Chase Briscoe. His bigger concern is the guys that really have nothing to lose. He said those will be the most dangerous guys. Guys like Austin Syndrich, who drives the 22, or his teammate Noah Gragson in the 9. He's worried one of them could throw a Hail Mary and get to victory lane, Dave.
And that white car right behind him, Kelly, that's Cole Custer with a comfortable point lead going into today's race. His crew chief, Mike Shiplett, said his message to his driver today, don't do something dumb in the early laps that will get us wrecked, and working on that car all day long. That will help them keep their points cushion. Now, when we got interrupted by the first caution talking about the 22 of Austin Syndrich, he almost spun on lap number 2, and they told the driver, don't be over-aggressive right here. And then during the caution, he had this to say.
A lot of desperation out there, holy cow.
Desperation from a lot of drivers out there, and realizing that he is in the middle of it there. Had to get out of it right now. Runs back in the 11th position with a really loose race car, Rick.
We got Noah Gragson right behind him. The yellow stripe on the back bumper, that indicates rookie status. So you see that also on the back of the 98 Chase Briscoe. Rookie means this is their first year competing full-time in the series. We talk about the youth of this series and how they're trying to advance their careers up into the Cup Series or maybe even keep a long-standing career here in the Xfinity Series. But they have to learn, and they learn every single race, every single lap.
And you're racing with guys also that you know are going to Cup next year, right? Tyler Reddick, we already know he's going to drive for Richard Childress Racing in his Cup program. Christopher Bell, we know he's going. So competing against these guys that the industry has said, we think that they're Cup worthy, I think it makes them all better.
Good fight for second right here, heating up. Cole Custer on the inside, hugging that apron. And Allgaier trying to make the outside line and the momentum work for him.
So what's difficult about this as he goes to that apron is understanding where that driver is on the bottom. See the 00, he's all the way, all 4 tires below that yellow line. Allgaier can't understand that. He doesn't know he's going to go that low, so Justin just has to run the line that he needs to run. Almost ignored that 00. See right here, enters, don't get too high. That middle groove is working at this racetrack today.
And these two stay door to door as they continue to fight for second. Allgaier had it, and it looks like Cole Custer might be surging ahead. But now, as they go through 1 and 2, he's all the way up in the traction compound. Allgaier using that darker surface, and he has the momentum once again.
Yeah, much like Allgaier doesn't know where Custer's going to be. Custer has the same issue down the front straightaway. You see here, this is turns 3 and 4. And if he's done like he has the last few laps, the 00 will turn left to go down on the flat. When he does that, that's fine. So here he is. But how quickly can he come up and how far? You see, he leaves almost a car width because he has to out of safety. You want to drive all the way up to the 7's door, but what if he isn't high? What if he is taking the low lane? You're going to run into each other on the straightaway.
And there's a lot of trust right here, right? Justin Allgaier, he's in a position, he can't afford to be in a wreck, right? He needs a clean, solid day. He has a tremendous amount of trust with Cole Custer to be able to run on the outside with him. Some guys you wouldn't trust, right? You just say, you know what? It's not worth the fight. Let's go ahead and let him go so I do not get in a wreck.
Things happen quick here. Less than 15 laps to go to the end of stage 1. Everyone fighting for position and points given out. The top 10 at stage 1's end. Laps to go in stage 1 of the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. This telecast presented by John Deere Gator. NASCAR Drive, that's your live race day companion. You can follow your favorite drivers with our high definition in-car cameras. All you have to do is visit NASCAR.com/driver. You can download the NASCAR mobile app today. Still out front is Christopher Bell. 35 laps complete, now 36, and he's led all 36 of them, even with the restart. Marty.
Yeah, Rick, the young driver out of Oklahoma, won both stages at Texas last week, and for the 4th time this year, completed the sweep and won the race as well. And Jeff, what would it be for a young driver? You know, it'd be easy. You're locked in the championship 4. Just take it easy this weekend, right? But no, they are coming here at one of their best racetracks at Phoenix, trying to win. And imagine, Jeff, the momentum that would create if you won back-to-back races heading into a must-win, or not must-win, but must-finish in front of the other guys to win a championship next week.
Yeah, and I think Christopher Bell, he's just a racer, right? I mean, he races all over the country, races dirt cars, just does all kinds of racing. He appreciates the opportunity to win a race and appreciates this opportunity to drive this equipment. So, yeah, he loves being locked in, and this is a great, fun weekend for him, but at the same time, it's a race-winning opportunity. And if you can get a trophy, you will go get it.
And we've mentioned these drivers are learning. Christopher Bell, it's already been announced that he will race on Sundays. He will be a Cup Series driver next year. He's going to drive for Levine Family Racing in the 95 next year at the Cup Series level. So he was so much more confident. We talked to him yesterday. So much more confident coming into this race because of the position he was in. He said he was so nervous during this race last year. He had to do everything perfect. He had to win the race. And said he was rightfully proud that he was able to do it. A must-win situation. He did win it to advance to the championship 4, but there's still something out here for this driver. He has not won an Xfinity Series championship yet.
Steve, just as we went to break, we saw or heard the 7 car, Justin Allgaier, shifting down into turn 3 and 4, going back into 4th gear, past the flag stand. That's torture on the heart of that automobile. You just wonder about whether that's necessary to take that risk. You see it right there. He's not going to be able to run down this 20 car. He's got a little bit of a gap to the 3rd place car behind him. Is it necessary to be shifting if it's only gaining him maybe a half of a tenth? What would you tell me? Tell me as a crew chief, you would probably say, hey man, once you're clear of traffic, once you're running by yourself, maybe take it easy. Don't shift. Don't risk breaking that transmission, hurting the valve train in that race car.
Yeah, mechanically, I would prefer you to stop shifting when it's unnecessary, but from a setup standpoint, that shift will also change the balance of the race car. So maybe Justin's doing it to give Jason Burnett, his crew chief, some good feedback on what he needs the car to do differently, because he is only in the 2nd position here on the longer run, a little bit better than Bell, actually. But I think Dale Jr.'s right. You know, Jeff, if you know how the car's driving, listen, we only got 4 more laps. You're not going to move anywhere in this stage. Just go ahead and protect the car a little bit. You see right here, he's actually going to stay in high gear. Yeah, maybe he's listening in.
Yeah, the last 2 laps, he hasn't shifted, and I think that's the reason. But you can't quit shifting the whole time, because it does. It completely changes the way the car brakes, how the car turns, how the car accelerates. This race is a long way from being over, and they want to win this race, and that information of what the car needs to do better when you are shifting, that has to be relayed right now, because you're going to get a chance here in about 3 laps to make a change, and if the right change right here could be the difference between winning and not.
Jeff, ask and you shall receive, because as Steve was talking about the balance of his car, so was Justin to his crew chief, Jason Burnett. He said that it's just getting tighter and tighter in the center of the turns. He's also a little bit loose off of turns 1 and 2, and he also noted that the track is significantly greasier than it was yesterday.
I think actually downshifting would help the car turn. Normally you go to 3rd gear, the car wants to rotate a little bit better, but you know, it's one of those things, you know, shifting can be an advantage, can be a disadvantage, but it looks like he's pretty comfortable doing it as we see the final lap for Christopher Bell, a little over a 2-second lead.
Talk about experience, though, and Justin Allgaier has all that experience. See Christopher Bell running up there in that traction compound. He knows if he can give his crew chief a little more time to think about the changes, rather than the caution coming out and then giving you that information, he has a better shot at getting the right change.
I don't like cramming for a test, Rick. Give me some time to study.
Well, Christopher Bell, he definitely put on a clinic here as he wins stage 1. It's his 21st stage win this year and 6th already in the playoffs. He wins stage 1. Points given out at the end of the stage, and so Allgaier is going to get 9 points for finishing 2nd. Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, Michael Annette, all getting points, all a part of the playoffs, all the way down to Austin Syndrich, who did get a point as well. Christopher Bell starting off dominant here at Phoenix. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. It's perfect for race fans. The all-new Ford Explorer, built Ford proud. And by John Deere Gator Utility Vehicles. Run with us. Stage 1, it's quick, 45 laps per stage, and here are the points that were given out. Christopher Bell doesn't need them. He already is locked into the championship for next week. But Allgaier definitely loves getting those points. So does Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, Michael Annett, Austin Syndrich, all in the playoffs, gaining some points. Noah Gragson, the lone playoff competitor that doesn't get any points. He was finished in 11th on that that first stage.
For Noah, really, as great as points are to talk about, it's victory lane or bust for the 9. So while he'd love to be up there because that means he has a good car, the lack of points doesn't hurt. Now we see the drivers kind of turning to the left. Just one more interesting, Pit Road is all the way over there at turn 2. This layout, just a lot of challenges to this layout. Parker.
Chase Briscoe's going to be one of the first into his stall there. Still very loose inside that 98 car. Is going to be Ford Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel and a wedge adjustment for Chase Briscoe to get that car tightened up. Then Michael Annett in the center of your screen, same situation, just loose, lacking rear grip. Ford Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel, Kelly.
Justin Allgaier at the bottom of your screen said that laterally he was free. His bigger issue, he just kept getting tighter and tighter across the center. They're going to make a small track bar adjustment and air pressure adjustment for tires, Marty.
Kelly, a clean sweep for Christopher Bell, who's led every lap to this point. Said the car felt kind of greasy taking off. That's when the 00 was kind of challenging him for the lead, but too tight on exit later in the run. Biggest problem was 3 and 4, an air pressure adjustment for the 20 car. Takes 4 Goodyear tires and wins the race off pit road, Rick.
No position change for Christopher Bell. Still out front, it was Cole Custer and Tyler Reddick, both gaining a spot over Allgaier. This week, an all-new Chicago Wednesday with 3 riveting stories. Chicago Med, Fire, and PD. Don't miss Chicago Wednesday, only on NBC. And let's check in with Rutledge Wood.
Rick, I always try to find the coolest place to watch a race from, and up here on top of Rattlesnake Hill, you get an incredible view of the entire track. What's up? We're on the helicopter. How cool is that? Tomorrow this hill is going to be packed with thousands of fans. Today there's just this one right here who came up for a hike. He's scoping it out for tomorrow. But, you know, a lot of people are already so excited that next year, this is going to be the last race. Tomorrow, the race is already sold out. Season tickets have gone on sale for next year, so you could get your ticket for the final, the championship next year already. And if you just want that race, that doesn't go until mid-February. But, guys, there's no bad seat here in the house or right next to the house, as it were, on Rattlesnake Hill.
Hey, Rick, I mean, you know how it's got its name, right? I mean,
Rattlesnake Hill.
You're catching on?
You would have known by my driving the golf cart up here, brother. I was not going to stay and wait for him.
Keep the hands and feet inside the ride at all times.
Yeah, that's such a cool spot. They've actually, you know, years ago it was literally just a hill. Now they've kind of cut some flat areas in there. You'll see tomorrow morning when we first come to the racetrack, there'll be easy ups put up and tarps, people covering their spot.
Their chairs, blankets
all
all up
he
there.
committed. He went all the way to the top. You see kind of the stairs, steps below.
And all that being done, even though it is Rattlesnake Hill, which I can't understand.
Yeah.
I'm not putting a tent where they call it Rattlesnake Hill. So Allgaier lost 2 spots. Okay?
Yes.
Starting on the outside, row 2. Is that a penalty? Like, I almost don't think
him,
it is.
might be good.
Yeah, I think maybe starting on the outside may actually be an advantage. Clearly, you want your pit crew to perform, not lose spots, but let's see how this works out.
So again, a unique situation here at ISM Raceway. They go down the backstretch. The pace car is already on pit road. The field in the hands of Christopher Bell, and they're coming up now as they go through turns 3 and 4 on the restart zone.
And remember, you cannot cross that yellow line on the inside until you get to the start-finish line.
And a lot due immediately. Look at that. Shortening the racetrack a ton. Here comes Tyler Reddick, 3 wide as they go into 1.
Look how low Reddick is. He's a car width and a half off the yellow line on the bottom side of it.
Allgaier all the way up to 2nd on that restart.
There you go, that outside lane. That bad pit stop ended up actually helping him.
But the one of Mike Lynette, he's going to join his teammate in the top 3, following Allgaier through on the top line.
We talked about it. He sees an opportunity. He's got to go for it. He's got to make something happen. Great restart.
And then up to 3rd, Cole Custer and Tyler Reddick now fighting for it. Cole Custer very loose in the 0-0. They're fighting for the 4th position. Here comes Chase Briscoe. We ride along with him.
What a great shot. Briscoe hunting that yellow line. Sees the 2 get off the bottom. Presents an opportunity. That's what discipline does. Being on that yellow line gave him an opportunity.
That was so well done. So well done to be patient. Now can he be patient at this end of the racetrack? Don't overdrive the entry. Oh, he does. He overdrives the entry, slides up, and there's the result. The 2 will clear him off the top. And I was hoping he would do it, roll it a little slower, knowing he can't carry the speed, work on exit. Unfortunately, he couldn't accomplish that.
I think that outside lane over there, that end of the racetrack's gotten really good. It'll be hard to make that pass on the inside.
It's interesting, during practice, at least the Cup practice, Chase Briscoe, who races for Stewart Haas Racing, went over and stood on top of the 4 Cup hauler, which is for Kevin Harvick. 9 wins at this racetrack on the Cup level. And he watched Kevin during practice. And then he also sat down and asked Kevin, hey, I need some advice about this racetrack.
Well, the connection continued because Tim Fedua, Kevin Harvick's spotter, spots for Chase Briscoe. So there's a voice in your head on top of the roof. He's seen Kevin Harvick for years. So maybe he can make a small suggestion, something different you could do with your entry or the middle of the corner to help your race car.
Need to mention that the 19 car of Brandon Jones was penalized too fast exiting. So he is starting at the back, working himself up to 14th.
And here's Austin Syndrich.
Not the day he was wanting.
Now the 22 running 10th right now. And Syndrich chasing after that 9 of Noah Gragson. Kelly?
And Noah, much like his teammate Justin Allgaier, has been tight across the center. So as we watch Justin shifting potentially to help that condition, his team also took note and passed it along to Noah. Have a listen.
So the 7th started doing his deal about 30 laps into that run. Looks like he picked up a little bit of time, but his balance was tighter through the center than what ours was.
Okay, and we talk about these drivers utilizing their teammates on the Cup side of things. Noah did that as well. He shares a spotter with 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson. So he told me he spent some time speaking with Jimmy this weekend to improve his chances here today, Dave.
Right behind them, Austin Syndrich in that white 22 trying to get by the white 8 of Zane Smith. They made a big adjustment on that last pit stop. 4 tires, fuel, but they also made an air pressure and a chassis adjustment to try to help his entry to the corner. That's where he felt he was getting beat the worst, and now he's trying to work his way back up through the top 10.
I'm really interested to see how well Austin Syndrich manages the day. He's a driver that I feel has a ton of talent, but at times tries too hard. You want the effort, but you have to have a car to challenge with. I think at times Austin has overdriven the 22 car at a race where I don't believe he has car enough yet. Continue to adjust on it. Can he remain patient? Give great information to his team. Let them or ask them to help his race car. Give him a better chance, Jeff.
Yeah, it's such a fine line, isn't it? Between pushing too hard and not hard enough. I think Austin Syndrich this year, for the most part, has done a really nice job of balancing that.
Better. Improved for sure.
Definitely better.
I think that some of that comes with confidence, and some of that comes with when you are patient and your team does improve your car. Now you know that actually works, right? It's easy to say, but if your car never gets better, you're like, guys, you tell me you're going to fix it, you don't. I think the 22 has done that. They've started with average cars and finished with above average cars. Brian Wilson, I think, much like Austin Syndrich, getting more confidence on top of the pit box to make an adjustment.
And some of that comes from what Junior talked about with what Riley Herbst is having to do, riding around in a wrecked race car for an hour and a half. That is punishment.
Learning.
And Rick, I was never an Xfinity Series crew chief. I've only done it a few races, and the couple I've done, it reminded me how I actually think it's more difficult. While strategy is a little bit more straightforward on the shorter Saturday races versus a Cup crew chief, you only get probably 3 shots to adjust your race car. You know, as a Cup crew chief, I knew I had 5, 6, 7 chances to keep working on my car. Over here, you're only going to probably get 3 if you're going to run up front.
Things happening quick. Only 27 laps to go in stage 2. Parker.
And guys, you see Michael and Nett getting into the top 5, currently running 4th, holding off the 2 car there of Tyler Reddick. You know, this race team had a lot of confidence going into this race. I spoke to his crew chief, Travis Mack. He said, we've got a great car. We maybe could point our way in if the 7 car were to have a problem. Otherwise, we just have to focus on winning. He said, that's the thing. We've got such a good car. Our biggest problem is that our teammate there in the 7, well, he might just be a little bit better, and this is one of his best racetracks, Marty.
Parker, meanwhile, up front, Christopher Bell has led all but 1 lap so far today. And the track has laid down traction compound this weekend. We've mentioned it a couple of times. You'll see when they go into 1 and 2 here, it's up at the top of the racetrack, the darker part of the surface. Well, Christopher told me that he really thinks that will be a big player today. Of course, now he's on the bottom. But for a lot of this race, he's been working that traction compound, trying to work it in. You never know when you might want to use it. And it takes people running up there, sort of activating it, if you will, to use it later in the race.
Marty, he looks comfortable out front. You mentioned he's only not led 1 lap. That was Tyler Reddick who was out front for that 1 lap as Christopher Bell continues to dominate. Here we go, NASCAR nonstop. Just 19 laps to go in Stage 2. NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. Telecast presented by John Deere Gator. And you can check out the greatest selection of T-shirts, die-cast, and more for all your favorite drivers. Just visit NASCAR.com/shop today. And make sure to get in gear for the championships in Miami. Christopher Bell is out front, has a 7/10 of a second lead over Justin Allgaier. Then it's Cole Custer, Michael Annett, and Tyler Reddick all making up the top 5.
But Justin Allgaier has not allowed Christopher Bell to run off and hide as much this time. It's under 1 second, as you just mentioned. And while I do think Bell has the best car currently, the first 2 stages very quick. If we get to reach halfway in this race, if Allgaier can improve, lap traffic, longer runs, there's a lot of racing still to be had. And I like what I see out of Allgaier. I actually think his car gets as good or better than Bell's late in a run. Now, is that him getting better or Bell slowing down on purpose? I don't know. A lot of chess out there.
And another thing we're paying attention to today, guys, is the traction compound and how these drivers are utilizing it, or maybe not utilizing it. It looks like, obviously, what we've seen in the race today, turns 1 and 2, really good application down there. It's a great place for these guys to help that outside line on restarts. As long as they're not put 3 and 4 and 5 wide going down into turn 1, you can clear on that outside groove coming off turn 2. But we haven't really seen anybody utilize the traction compound in 3 and 4. They did move it down from last night. It was actually applied much higher, much further away from that bottom groove. They've lowered it. I wonder if they're watching this race and plan to make more alterations to that traction compound in turn 3 and 4 so the drivers may use it more deep into these runs. This is a long run. Guys shouldn't be using it. I think it's too high up the racetrack for my preference, and I don't see anyone else up there either.
That's politician Dale Jr. Because yesterday he said it needed to be a little lower in 3 and 4, and they sprayed it a little lower. So now maybe this is him politicking maybe 6 more feet.
And they put it on the racetrack to give the drivers an option to run somewhere else to be able to pass someone.
That's the key word. So when these tracks are repaved like Phoenix was a few years back, the preferred line around the bottom of the racetrack gets so much more rubber, so clean, because cars run there, it becomes dominant. So it's very hard to go around another car. This traction compound has opened up the world of creating racing at a racetrack, almost aging it before it ages, allowing these drivers to move around. In 15 years, the track will be so old and the bottom lane so worn out, you might move off the bottom lane, Jeff, just for traction.
That's right. And this is what's so difficult is that what's needed for an Xfinity race may be different than what's needed for a truck race or what's needed for a cup race. They all run on the same weekend. This is a learning process.
And it's all in the name of good racing. So much has been talked about with rules and tires and race length and stages. The simple fact is these facilities reinvest. The infield here at Phoenix, this is the 2nd year, gorgeous. Yes. Such a great fan experience. The track has a great layout. The suites are gorgeous. So this is one way that they can say, look, it's not just about the seats and the amenities. How can we change the surface to provide a better show for the fans? Marty.
Steve Tyler Reddick sitting in 5th, trying to get 4th from Michael Annett right in front of him in that number 1 red and white car. You know, trying to get it very patiently after a wreck at Texas last week. Contact on lap 2 today. Patience is the theme of the day for the 2 car, and Derek Neal in the spotter reiterated that in the last stage.
Sorry if I sound annoying today, but don't want to put ourselves in a bad spot.
Good job up there. Keep doing what you're doing.
Simple.
Just don't want to get greedy up there in that black stuff.
That would be grandfather Richard Childress chiming in, saying, don't get greedy up in that black stuff. Hey, Jeff, they're not really trying to change Tyler Reddick, who's known as an extremely aggressive driver, but they did tell him before the race, today is not the day for heroics as he tries to get 4th right here.
He's able to take 4th, use a little lap traffic for a pick. Nice play, nice, smart move. You've got to pull this guy back just a little bit, right? It's okay. Next week, they're going to turn him loose. He's going to be bouncing off the walls, making stuff happen, but today is not the day for that. A little bit further behind these guys, John Hunter Nemechek in his 23 car, we're starting to see this car run toward the front more often. Finished 5th last week at Texas. It's been a struggle for this team. It's a single-car team, and they just don't have the help that other teams have, and I think that's a major disadvantage. But this team, as this year's gone on, it's gotten better and better.
John Hunter Nemechek felt like they had a top 8, potentially a top 5 car today. Remember pulling that triple duty, raced the trucks last night, Xfinity today, and will be in the Cup car tomorrow. He told me he figured he'd run somewhere between 400 and 500 laps by the end of yesterday, with another 512 potential race laps still ahead of him. So he said it has been busy, but the plus side, he's really been able to see how this track has changed, how the rubber has been laid out, how it transitions throughout the day as well. So this team and this driver super optimistic about a good result today, Dave.
Kelly trying to chase him down. You're on board with Austin Syndrich. That car still a little bit free, but going in the right direction. Remember, they need to win today. The mathematics could work out, but he said it's such a long shot, did crew chief Brian Wilson, that we really want to have the mindset of winning. Go to the front if you can. They've still got to get the car there. It's not quite right yet.
A lot of conversation about the track and how it was prepared with the traction compound. Well, the one of Mike Lynette has found a nice way to use it. We saw Tyler Reddick get by him in traffic. You mentioned, Jeff, with a little bit of a pick. Well, Annette says, I got to try something. So he went clearly up into the darker area of the racetrack at this end here. We'll see if he does it again with traffic. He might be forced to run the bottom. Nope, he goes all the way up. So you see he drives a little lower this time. The last lap through, he had 4 tires up in there and ran a 10th faster than Reddick. So it's still over half the race to go. We'll see if the groove continues to widen out.
There's John Hunter Nemechek trying to hold off the 22 of Austin Syndrich. Syndrich trying that outside line. We've seen it work for Allgaier, and now it works for Syndrich as he'll make the pass. John Hunter Nemechek filling in on the Cup side for Matt Tift. Had a medical condition at Martinsville that will keep him out of the Cup car for the remainder of the season, and so John Hunter Nemechek getting the nod to fill in for him, and a great job at Texas a week ago. Finished 21st in his Cup Series debut. And Syndrich has taken that spot away, so now Syndrich up into the 7th position. All of the top 7 playoff contenders. Bell out front, under 4 laps to go now in stage 2. Reddick has been the only other driver that has led a lap, and it's been 1 lap. Tyler Reddick trying to defend his championship. A year ago, he won the title in Miami, and now in a different team, running for RCR, trying to defend that title, and comfortably, as you see the points on the left, 41 points above the cutoff line, so comfortably in the championship 4 as they're running on the track today.
These first 2 stages have gone exactly the way that Allgaier, Custer, and Reddick wanted them to go. Smooth, calm, clean, get points.
You mentioned the points. My calculator is not quite as certified as our great statisticians over here, but I believe that if it finishes like this with Allgaier, Custer, and Reddick all up in the top 4, getting points again, it's basically going to become a must-win for the 98, the 1, and the 22. We'll check it after this finish of this stage, but you mentioned it, Jeff, right? They had to try to gain some points early. They were unable to do that because of the execution of those other cars. So, unfortunately for them, it might be a clear, very difficult road ahead.
And Christopher Bell, he was locked in, right? What he's doing right now, he's just sending that signal. If you're going to win a championship, you're going to go through me. I killed you last week at Texas, and I'm going to do it again today, and I'm going to do it next week at Miami. You're going to have to go through Christopher Bell to win this championship.
3 and 4 the final time in stage 2 as that 36 gets a little bit loose. Josh Williams goes out of the way, but it's stage 2 victory for Christopher Bell. He's swept stage 1 and 2 now. Allgaier finishes 2nd again. Cole Custer is 3rd, Reddick 4th, and Michael Lynette in the top 5. Then it's Briscoe, Syndrich, John Hunter Nemechek, Noah Gregson, and Zane Smith, all in the top 10, gaining stage points. That'll do it for stage points for the Xfinity Series. No more for the rest of the season, especially for these playoff drivers. Bell once again winning the stage. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by John Deere Gator Utility Vehicles. Run with us. Toyota. Let's go places. And by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Perfect for race fans. Aerial coverage presented by Coca-Cola. The newly renovated ISM Raceway here in Avondale, Arizona. Just about 15 miles from the skyline of Phoenix. You see the points earned today, and Christopher Bell sweeping both stages. Gets 20. Allgaier finished second in both of them. He gets 18. Custer third in both. Braddock fourth in both. So most points earned through the stages. And again, everyone in yellow currently in the playoffs. It is now a lock for the 00 of Cole Custer. He has locked himself into the championship 4 based on points. So now it's Christopher Bell, Cole Custer locked into Miami. Parker.
And Chase Briscoe would be the first one into his stall. Said that the car's getting better there. It's starting to just tighten up in the center. It's going to be Ford Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel and a track bar adjustment for him. In the center of your screen, Michael Annette had great lap times there late in the run. As Steve said, it's going to be Ford Goodyear tires, just losing time in the entry to turn 1, Kelly.
So Allgaier in that 7 car still has a vehicle that's just too tight across the center. Put some tape on the grill. Ford Goodyear tires, Marty.
A nearly perfect day for Christopher Bell so far. Kelly has led all but 2 laps to this point. 92 in the books and max points at this point of the race as well. Said the car could be even better though. Ford Goodyear tires and an air pressure adjustment to fix it over in 1 and 2 where he's too loose. And once again, they hold serve here on pit road, Rick.
Yeah, pretty good race off pit road there. Cole Custer and Justin Allgaier. Cole Custer, as I mentioned, he is now a part of the championship 4 based upon points. He's locked in. You're watching the Desert Diamond Casino West Valley 200 from Avondale, Arizona here at ISM Raceway. Now Sunday Night Football on NBC. Kirk Cousins taking on Dak Prescott. Vikings versus the Cowboys. That coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern with Football Night in America only on NBC.
We're getting some information up here. Cousins 1-6 versus the Cowboys from our Cowboys fan.
Yeah, he's a Cowboys fan. Of
the
course
booth.
He's going to say that. All right, trouble on pit road. The 20 and the 22, both with issues. A little bit too fast. That makes things interesting for the 20 of Christopher Bell. Rutt.
Rick, you mentioned some of those renovations. I want to show you, though. So we're inside the track, just off the pit road. That's Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the Peacock pit box behind me. What's up, buddy? So check this out. This is one of the big things they did. They wanted to get fans closer to victory lane. So there's these huge areas where the fans can go. Right now, the fans are all over here hanging out, enjoying a place to sit, a place to watch the race. But it's all about whoever rolls their car into victory lane coming up a little bit later. With those penalties, guys, oh, this is going to shake it up, isn't it?
Yeah, those penalties are huge. I mean, Christopher Bell has dominated this race. Now he's going to have to go to the back. Austin Syndrich in a must-win situation. He's got to go to the back. The opportunity is there. Who can take advantage of it? And Christopher Bell, can he find a way to get back to the front and win this race? Still 104 laps to go.
You mentioned must-win situation. So now Michael Annett, Austin Syndrich, and Noah Gragson, they are all in must-win situations. So those are the bottom three. They have to win the race if they want to advance to the championship four.
Yeah, Chase Briscoe can still mathematically do it on points. It would take a few things falling his way, but when there's a chance, there's a chance.
Yeah, it's going to take It's going to take a great day for him and a bad day for Justin Allgaier after Allgaier has put up some pretty good points already. Dale Jr.?
Yeah, when you think about guys like Chase Briscoe, Michael Annett, Austin Syndrich, obviously with that penalty, it's demoralizing to see that 20 car up there just dominating each race, especially this race. And if you're in a must-win situation, how do you beat that? Well, he's had this penalty. I think those guys got to get amped up. Their spotters, their crew chief. They need to tell them, here it is, right in front of us, the opportunity we wanted. We need to put ourselves in position to try to win this race. Hold off that 20 car as he drives through the field.
Justin Allgaier lost the spot on pit road. Had he not lost that spot, he would be in control of this restart. Instead, he's on the bottom.
He's on the bottom. It gets a really nice start by the 7, so much so Custer chases him down. Can Allgaier take the lead from the bottom? He's able to do it.
Here comes Tyler Reddick as well in the 2.
We talk about opportunity. That 20 misstep right there, it is green light for Justin Allgaier. Forget the year, forget what's happened. Win at Phoenix, carry that momentum to Miami.
And great job by Justin, right? He didn't go in this restart thinking, oh my gosh, we lost a start and we could have been on the pole here. Instead, he just went and took the lead. Nice job.
Took it away. The fight for second now heating up as Reddick to the inside of Custer. Custer running that higher line, as is Chase Briscoe behind him. And then Noah Gragson also coming into the screen. So the 9 of Noah Gragson, we mentioned he's one of the drivers, must-win situation. Austin Syndrich in the 22 after a pit road penalty, must-win situation. And the 1 of Michael Annett, must-win situation. Well, Michael Annett is in 6th, and right now Gragson is in 5th. But it's Allgaier out front looking for his first win of 2019.
And on the right side, you see the 20 of Christopher Bell. Don't forget about me. I know I had a little issue. Lap 101, I got 99 laps to go in this race. Basically, we're at halfway. Currently, that will be for the 11th position. That 20 car is so good. Right in front of him, the 19 of Brandon Jones, his teammate. Oh, when there comes into the picture, Syndrich didn't want to be forgot either, so he kind of popped into the picture.
Well, one of the advantages that Christopher Bell had is that he put so many cars a lap down. With the speed that he had, there's only 20 cars in the lead lap. So he didn't restart that far back.
Marty.
Yeah, but from 3 laps, from 17th up to 11th, that's impressive for anyone. And it certainly helps when you have veterans on the top of the pit box. For him, Jason Ratcliffe's longtime veteran who's been a Cup Series winner, crew chief in the past, and Tony Hirschman, the spotter, who reiterated to him before the green flag came out, listen, there's 103 laps to go. There's 98 now. We got a long way to go. Patiently make our way through the field. We clearly have the best car. Let's go show them.
The other thing that comes into play here, Steve, is the possibility of green flag pit stops. They can only go about 80 laps on fuel. There's still 97 to go in this race. So there is the possibility of the crew being very pivotal as far as getting things done for these teams.
Oh, the crew's going to be pivotal green or yellow. The question is, green flag becomes more complicated. There is a bigger risk. If you have an issue, it could cost you a lap. But we just saw it. It was unfortunately the driver of the 20 that got caught speeding, but it could just easily be a bad pit stop. Pit road changes the complexion of these races week in and week out.
Pit road's been part of this sport for forever, and it's such a huge role. Teams stepping up at the right times, other teams making mistakes. Driver speeding.
By the way, Bell is now already up to 10th after restarting at the back. Parker.
And guys, you're looking there just at Chase Briscoe on board with him. Think about his position right now. He's P4, but he's watching that 7 car lead this race, and his team told me, they said, look, we know this is probably one of the 7's best tracks in Justin Allgaier. We know that they're going to be fast, but we cannot focus on them. We've just got to control what we can control, focus on our day, and if we do everything right, we can find ourselves going to Miami. But man, that's got to be demoralizing watching him in the lead of this race as you run in 4th.
Parker, funny that you mentioned that the 7's best track. Yesterday during practice, or at least at the beginning of practice, I was sitting in the 7 hauler and I was sitting next to Justin Allgaier, and I said, I could hear the cars firing up, and I said, isn't this the first practice? And he goes, yeah. I said, well, why are you sitting in the hauler next to me? He goes, we don't have enough set of tires. I think we just need to ration our time. So I don't need to be out there at the very start of this practice. I said, well, you have got things figured out then, because if you're this calm and practice is going on and you're sitting here in your street clothes while practice is going on, I said, that's pretty impressive.
Well, he's also calm as you see Tyler Reddick trying to run him down. On the left side of your screen, you see that he's currently 3rd in the playoff picture with leader next to his name because he's leading the race. Well, even if he isn't the leader, if he goes back to 2nd, he's still in safely on points. So Justin Allgaier, while a win is absolutely the goal, he's already had what I would consider a successful Phoenix. Ran up front, scored the points. I'm not saying he can ignore the points, but Jeff, I think he can start to look ahead quite a bit, try to win this race.
I agree 100%. They've done everything they needed to do so far. He wants to win. I mean, this guy, he hasn't won, right? He wants to win in the worst way. Kelly.
Talk about Justin Allgaier being so good here. He said the first time he ran here in Phoenix, he just felt comfortable. He feels like this style of track just suits his driving style. But as good as he's been here, remember, he just has the 1 win. And when I talked to him yesterday during practice, he said as many good feelings as he has here in Phoenix, he's had a lot of heartbreak here too. He's had a lot of close calls and races where things didn't work out for him. So it's kind of a place of mixed emotion for the driver. Although right now, the only emotion is going to be the joy of having clean air ahead of him and the entire field behind him.
He's going to want to find something, or he's not going to have the entire field behind him. Yeah. Tyler Reddick has taken 3 or 4 tenths of a second off Allgaier's lead the last few laps.
This is a racetrack where you're going to have 4 people that will be elated and the rest of the field will be disappointed. 4 people that advance to the championship, 4, they're going to be excited. Which side of the line are you going to be on? Right now, Allgaier out in front in Phoenix. We go NASCAR nonstop. And Bell goes around. Bell trying to find his way from the back to the front after the pit road speeding penalty.
Spun, no contact.
You heard it there, spun, no contact.
That's how quickly things change in this sport. Christopher
Right
Bell
down.
out there dominating this race. Pit road penalty, has to go to the back, charging to the front, trying to rumble on that apron, and it just came around on him.
When does the right front blow here? Because we saw it was down. He slides a long ways before it goes down.
That shows you.
There it went.
That was the best race car on the racetrack. It shows you how hard Christopher Bell is pushing his car to have that speed.
Good job behind him avoiding.
It's uncomfortable decision time now for everyone else in the playoffs as we take another look for the 20. You know, there's 84 laps to go. Everybody has a set of tires. It's awful early to put the set of tires on, but you almost have to come to pit road because you're just inside the fuel window. So you have to come and put at least fuel in it. And then the question is, if you only put fuel in it, can the tires go 83 laps?
Bell's got to put tires on. Yeah, he's got to put tires on. This will be his last set. So this is an opportunity in my eyes for Austin Syndrich, for Noah Gragson. Do what everybody else doesn't do. If they all pit, stay out. Get yourself in some kind of a different situation.
So there's your options, Rick. If everyone pits, stay out. You'll probably get outrun on the racetrack, but if we have a late caution, put tires on like Chase Briscoe did at Iowa, try to outrun the leader. If you don't, if they all stay on the racetrack, you come down. Put your tires on, put fuel in it. Hopefully you get a fuel run. Parker.
And guys, you see there, Chase Briscoe, fuel only. Also, Michael Burnett, fuel only. These teams going for track position, Kelly.
All right, Justin Allgaier, the leader, opts for 4 Goodyear tires. He said that he was way better in turns 1 and 2, still just too tight in turns 3 and 4, but 4 Goodyear tires. Sunoco fuel, Marty.
You see Christopher Bell putting on right side tires only. You can see those hood flaps popping up as he was coming down pit road as well. Tyler Reddick on pit road too. They're going to go 4 tires here for Tyler Reddick. Everybody pitting, 82 to go right now. They in theory could make it all the way to the end. Bell wound up doing all 4 Goodyear tires on that 20 car after the spin.
Bell loses a lap, so.
Yeah, they almost had an issue on pit road. The gas man was having a hard time holding on to the gas can when he left. A right front tire down, a spin by Christopher Bell puts him at the back of the field once again. .81 laps to go. The NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. This telecast presented by John Deere Gator.
I think this is an uncomfortable position for all of the guys above the cut line. Justin Allgaier specifically, you know, he had a good car. I thought he had everything he needed. This caution for the 20 of Bell forces these guys to make a decision. I like what Allgaier's team did. They put on 4 tires. I think that's the conservative, smart call. But it just opens the window of a little bit of a gamble for people like Briscoe and Annette who've stayed on the racetrack. If they get a late yellow, they can put tires on. That scares someone like Allgaier. Remember, if Briscoe wins, he goes above the cut line. That bumps out the 7.
All right, pit road, 80 laps to go. Things are heating up. And Parker, what are you seeing from down there?
Well, this is the opportunity that 98 team needed. They've been just around the top 5 or in the top 5, getting that car better. They just need this stroke of opportunity that they got here to get that track position, Dave.
Parker, Austin Syndrich knows he made a mistake on pit road. Now it's his job to get to the front. He restarts in the 5th position. They just told him you're good to the end on fuel.
The only sure way for Justin Allgaier to be a part of that championship for Miami is with a win. He had the lead when the caution came out. They opted for a full-service pit stop. Justin doesn't necessarily agree with the decision, Marty. He said, this stuff makes my stomach turn.
Kelly, this ought to be fun. The top 7 fuel only. Tyler Reddick sitting in 8th. 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Let's check it out, Rick, the restart.
Clements and Briscoe making up row number 1. Clements in the 51 on the inside. He dives down to the apron, goes through the dog leg. The fight for the lead now. Austin Syndrich. Here he comes way down on the inside of the apron, fighting for the lead.
Austin Syndrich.
A little too low, maybe.
Oh, my goodness, was he on the bottom. I don't even know if that's the bottom. I don't know what you even call that.
The infield. I call that the infield.
Bright yellow, number 19. That's Brandon Jones making the move on the outside of Clements. He's going to take second away. Now it's Chase Briscoe out front. He's dictating this race.
Why that matters is look on the left-hand side with the 98 leading. He's in. That makes the 2 plus 13, and Justin Allgaier, who's been safe all day, at minus 13, and here he is 3 wide in the middle.
Allgaier fighting to get up there and fighting once again for the lead of this race.
That 7 and that 2. If you get a different winner, that could turn into a point battle. So Justin Allgaier doing all he can to get in front of that 2 car.
Briscoe, Brandon Jones, Austin Syndrich, Jeremy Clements, Justin Allgaier in the top 5. Then it's Reddick, Annette, Sieg, Zane Smith, and Noah Gregson in the top 10. 3 wide for position, and Allgaier is going to take it. But here comes the 2 of Tyler Reddick as Allgaier up the racetrack. Reddick now at the bottom of the track fighting for the same spot.
Remember, this racetrack has presented an opportunity for drivers. They have raced their way into Miami multiple times at this track with must-win situations.
Little crossover move by Allgaier after Reddick took the spot. Here comes Allgaier back on the inside.
And what was once a calm, easy race for these 2 guys, it has changed. Now it is a battle and a dogfight.
And we heard Allgaier shift right there. Allgaier now back in front of the 2. Will he do the crossover move?
Hard to make it work that low on the corner. Good exit, though.
And the struggle for Allgaier right now is why he wants to stay in front of the 2 of Reddick. They're losing time to Briscoe. At some point, you have to get in line, even if that means giving the Reddick the spot the next time he attacks, because you need Reddick winning is much better than Briscoe. Someone has to get in front of that 98 if you're Allgaier.
Marty.
And Tyler Reddick just told his team the 7's been shifting. That's why he was able to get the launch on me. And Randall Burnett told Tyler Reddick the risk is not worth the reward for us on that front. So let's just hang out where we are right now. So it's interesting, Steve, the 7 and the 2, the furthest forward of those who took tires, and those guys in front of them, they have a set left. Everybody else who took tires on that stop, they're out of tires for the day, unless they put on a set of scuff tires that they ran earlier in the race.
Yeah, I mean, the tire count will become an issue. The one advantage, perhaps, to the guys that don't have tires left is Briscoe and Jones on old tires have driven off the front of the field, so it doesn't seem like the tires are hurting them. Now, there's not a ton of laps on the tires. There could be a little bit more if an untimely caution comes out. But at this point, all Justin Allgaier can do, he can't worry about all that. He needs to focus in front and go get Brandon Jones and then try to go past Chase Briscoe.
You'd like to save a little tire here. You'd like to be able to not run very hard so that the caution doesn't come out and all these guys come and get tires. You've got a little bit of tire left. But he can't afford to do that. He's got to go recapture the lead. He needs to win this race to get himself in.
Briscoe out front right now is a part of the championship 4. It happens just that quickly. Tyler Reddick is the 4th. Only 4 will fight for the championship next week in Miami. Reddick looking to the inside of Syndrich.
And as Reddick and Syndrich battle, Christopher Bell back at 22nd is trying to get by Joey Gase for the free pass position, kind of wondering what happened? I was in control of this race, and here I am a lap down.
Well, it also makes you think about next weekend, right? I mean, next weekend you have a speeding penalty, have anything happen, even with the dominant car, you're not guaranteed to win the race.
And look at
Kinda
this.
Gets you attention a little bit, right? A reminder that you got to do everything right.
Allgaier's there. It's just that quick. He's been able to catch the 19 of Brandon Jones. Now what can he do with him once he's there? He'll take the higher line through 3 and 4.
Nice wide entry is going to allow him to have a much lower exit. You're going to see him start to gain on Jones down the straightaway. Allgaier using some patience here. Still 69 laps to go. Options in front. We've talked about options. Talked about that traction compound. The 7 goes all the way up to find it with his right side tires.
How about Briscoe? Briscoe was way up into the traction compound leading this race. And there, a little bobble by Brandon Jones. Here comes the 7 of Allgaier.
Allgaier's got to be very disciplined. Great job. Left side tires all over that yellow line.
And there's second. Allgaier takes second away. Now he sets his sights on the 98 of Briscoe.
All right, Rick, right now take a mental picture of that playoff leaderboard on the left-hand side. The 98 is in, the 7 is out. As the 7 runs the 98 down, that can change and will change dramatically if the 7 becomes the leader.
Briscoe out front, fighting for his possibility of being in the championship 4 as we go NASCAR nonstop. Well, next Saturday, it will all be decided. The NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship on the line. Race coverage for Miami begins at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. It is then decided. The 2019 champion, whoever finishes in front of the other 3 of the championship 4, is the series champion. And right now, Justin Allgaier is racing his way into the championship 4. He's got 61 laps to go, but he's out front. A little bit of roughing up the 98 here, slid the tire, got up into the back quarter panel. And guys, is that something that is in the back mind of Chase Briscoe now?
Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, Justin Allgaier right there, he saw the left front smoke off that left front tire, got in there just a little bit too deep and up the racetrack. He Briscoe knows that he wasn't as fast as the 7, but still, if he gets that caution and can get to Allgaier, then he can play that card a little bit, right?
Well, you just said the magic word, the caution. 60 laps to go. And by my account, we have about 12 or 13 guys that have already put on their last set of tires. So let's play this out. We get 20 or 30 more laps into this run. Perfect scenario for Chase Briscoe as a caution comes out. Justin Allgaier has no tires. He's going to fuel. You'll assume he'll stay on the racetrack. If 10 or 12 guys do that, Briscoe comes and puts his last set of tires on. He's going to line up 13th, 14th, 15th with brand new tires. Can he use those tires and go to the lead is the big question.
Steve, can I throw one more variable at you and ask you, do you use more fuel when you shift, or do you use more fuel when you don't shift? Because a lot of these drivers came with 82 laps to go, and 80 was about that window. So are they using more fuel shifting, and potentially could that become an issue at the end of this race?
You definitely use more fuel shifting, but the crew chiefs understand that. I actually think they can run over 80. They could probably run 82, 83. But that's something they're going to keep an eye on. You know, if you get to the point, you might tell them not to shift for 5 or 10 laps, kind of put that into your equation. The last thing you want to do is run out of gas with a lap to go.
Yeah, when you're potentially leading like Allgaier is right now. Let's take a look at the Toyota driver update. Brandon Jones running in the 5th position, the highest scored at Toyota right now. Was back in 23rd. That's the furthest he's been back, and highest he's been has been 2nd. But Brandon Jones, first career win coming this year. Elated even though it was outside the playoffs and it didn't advance him. But Brandon Jones, very talented young driver. As this fight for position is on now between teammates, both driving for Stewart-Haas Racing.
You mentioned fights. There are fights all over the racetrack. We have these two Stewart-Haas Racing teammates battling. Tyler Reddick slowly inching in on the back bumper of the 7 of Allgaier.
Now, if Tyler Reddick takes the lead, which is quite possible here, that will bump the 7 of Justin Allgaier back down to 4th, but it should keep him in the 4th position. As long as someone below the 4th position doesn't come up and lead the race, Allgaier is still going to be in based on points.
That's a big if for 55 laps to go. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of things that this can get away from the 7 or the 2. I'm telling you, the difference in tire strategy, but the potential of a yellow tires meaning something, there is a lot of racing left.
No, these two drivers, I don't know how much they want to work with each other, but they could work with each other right now. Just get together with the spotters, pull the pace back. Right? They're running 28.60s. 5th place is running at 28.9. Like, just slow down.
So,
like, save some tire, right? I mean, that's what I know.
I know what Steve's about to say.
That's what they could be doing.
You really think they're going to get Tyler Reddick to pull the pace?
Not at all. Not at all. but it would be a good plan.
It's a great plan. You sold me.
You know, I love Jeff Burton, the broadcaster, because he thinks so clearly, but Jeff Burton, the race car driver, would
I'm going to give Jeff credit. Jeff Burton, the race car driver, would have done that. That's how he drove. If I was Jeff's crew chief, I know I could say, Jeff, here's our goal lap time, and he would back right to it. But that is not how Tyler Reddick is wired. Justin Allgaier could do it. He's that way. The instinct is there. Not that guy in 2nd, though.
But to your point, I do confuse myself.
Yeah, guys, it's pretty close points battle right here. When these guys are moving around, taking the lead, that 98 car had the lead. Obviously, he would have been locked in. I think I like the position that 98 car's in. I feel certain that we're going to definitely get a late yellow that's going to present the opportunity for those guys to come in and get those tires. And I think we may even get more restarts to allow him to close that gap back up to the leader, get more chances at taking more positions on these restarts. We see how the restarts are. A lot of room down in turn 1 and 2 to go wherever you need to go with those tires. You're not going to get boxed in behind guys if you can be aggressive. So late in this race, I think we're definitely going to see some yellows, a rash of yellows, that give this 98 car an opportunity for this strategy to play out.
I tell you one thing, Junior, if we do get it, and I think we will as well, Chase Briscoe all day long has been running that outside lane. So if you get that late race restart, watch for him. If he can restart on the inside, he's going 3 wide. He is going as high as he can because he's going to have to get positions quickly.
Brandon Jones now in that bright yellow, number 19. trying to take the spot away from Briscoe. Allgaier out in front at ISM Raceway as we go NASCAR nonstop. Next weekend, 3 NASCAR champions will be crowned when the 2019 playoffs culminate in Miami. Visit NASCAR.com/tickets, and you can purchase your tickets today. Secure your chance to see history made there in person. Now just 44 laps remaining. Allgaier is out front. Reddick running second, but it's 1.8 seconds that separate the top 2. Steve, do you run differently now?
So I don't think you run differently, but this is absolutely the concerning time for the 7 of Allgaier. Here's why. We know Briscoe has those tires, but you need time to use them. Justin Allgaier has 36 laps on his tires. The longest run of the day is 38, so we know these tires have fallen off. A caution right now, Allgaier is forced to stay on the racetrack. He has no more tires. That gives Briscoe 43 laps to use those brand new tires to try to run them down. I really believe if Allgaier can get inside of 20 to go, why his tires will be older, less time, right? Briscoe's going to have to try to do it in only 20 laps. So the next 15 laps, if I'm Jason Burnett or Justin Allgaier, I'm eating some Tums at this moment. I'm just trying to settle my stomach.
And also in a weird kind of way, 7's got to be careful how many cars he laps. Right? If he laps too many cars, then that's just that much further up that the 98 can restart on tires. That's a weird position to be in.
Yeah.
But if you take out another 5 or 6 cars, then the 98 can start that much further up.
Deep thoughts from Jeff Burton there. Let's go through the field. We'll start with Kelly.
And Rick, it was interesting talking to Justin Allgaier today. His biggest concern was what were people willing to do to win this race? He was worried that someone might be willing to wreck another driver. Instead, it was Justin who kind of helped nudge Chase Briscoe out of the way so he could retake the lead. But here's what Justin said after that.
Make sure the 98 shows I wasn't trying to get into him right there.
He said he didn't mean to get into him, didn't mean to rough him up. All right, Justin Allgaier winless this season, can change all that and go to Miami with a chance at the championship and momentum if he can stay in the lead today, Marty.
Kelly, a little while ago, Jeff Burton was thinking the 7 and the 2 might want to back down a little bit, save some pace and maybe save some fuel at the same time. But Tyler Reddick wants to push the tempo. Why? Listen.
We are good for fuel by 1 lap. The 7th shifting, that's got to be hurting his fuel mileage, so we're going to just keep running here for a little bit, but I might have him back it up just a little bit here in a little while, okay?
And that was a communication between the crew and Derek Nealon, the spotter. Fuel could be a factor at the end of this thing as well, Dave.
And Marty, Cole Custer doesn't care about their strategy. Why? Upper left there, you see the 00 ADV advanced to the championship 4 round. He's been battling a little brake fade all day long. That's one of the reasons why the 00 hasn't been up front. Parker?
And Chase Briscoe running in 4th is fighting for so much more than just a win and a chance at a championship today. He told me just before the race he has still not signed a contract for next season. He's unsure of what his plans will be for 2020. I asked him what he felt like could fix that. He said, winning, of course. I think that fixed a lot of things, Dave.
You see Zane Smith taking a peek there in the white Chevrolet, the number 8. What a great day for him. Another good run and only a partial schedule. His crew chief, Taylor Moyer, said this morning, if there was a ratio for raw speed versus time behind the wheel in a season, this kid would be off the charts. Another strong run for Zane, Kelly.
And behind him, John Hunter Nemechek filling in for Matt Tifft in the Cup Series, and said having that experience, just being on the racetrack with the Cup Series drivers, should help his racecraft all around and make him a better driver in all aspects. They've had a strong car today, picked up a lot of time in practice too, which had him feeling like they could be poised for a top 5, running 6th right now, Dave.
Kelly running 7th is Brandon Jones. The loose in his race car is what's hurting him. It's a handling condition that doesn't allow him to drive fast. He's going to get passed right here by Austin Syndrich, and you can see the room that Jones is giving him. He's been very respectful to truck playoff drivers last night and also today when he was running up front. The car that just passed him, Austin Syndrich, finally coming towards the front. His crew chief told me this morning we really work on our long run speed. It's late in this run that he is going forward. And Parker, he's got a set of tires behind the wall, fresh ones just in case.
Behind him in 9th is Justin Haley, who's focused on next season. He will be in the ride in 2020. He told me, right, these last 2 races are all about just building that. What would have been a successful day today? He said a top 7. We're only in 9th. He's just 2 out of there. Behind him, Michael Annette in the 1 car who ran so well in the first 2 stages, up in the top 5. But as we restart here into stage 3, after that restart, he actually fell back a little bit, thought he had a tire going down at one point, and is trying to come back from that. But the good news, he still does have a set of tires, Kelly.
Noah Gregson running 11th in a must-win situation. When I asked him about the pressure of that, he said it was actually the last couple of weeks where he really felt the pressure of trying to both balance collecting points and go for the win. He said it's much easier here when the focus is clear. Well, unfortunately, they just haven't had the race car to really contend for that win, Marty. At times, he says he's in a 4-wheel slide. Noah Gregson just outside the top 10.
Kelly, my, oh my, how the day changed for Christopher Bell after he sped on pit road, then the unforced error to spin coming off of turn 2 here in stage 3. And during that spin, after the flat right front tire, he thinks he ground the front sway bar off of the car, and he's so worried that the car's rolling over so much that the right front might not make it to the end of the race. So Jeff, with no sway bar, man, you can see that thing just rolling over on corner exit. How much of a handful does Christopher Bell, the dominant driver here today, have right now behind the wheel of that 20 car?
Yeah, it's not any fun not having a sway bar completely acting the way it needs to act. Car rolls over a lot. Normally it's very loose.
Does that challenge that right front tire, Steve? I mean, when he puts a little more pressure on there, is it making it more difficult?
Yeah, I mean, it actually doesn't put more pressure on the right front tire. It just feels like it from the seat. I actually think it would help the right front tire because the car is going to turn so much. It's probably not going to abuse it. I'd be more concerned if it was just getting dead tight. But either way, it's designed to have it in there, so it'll be a long run to the finish for the 20.
Allgaier doesn't want to have a caution. He's got a 2.6 second lead over Cole Custer. Allgaier looking for his path to the championship 4 here at ISM Raceway. 25 laps to go. The NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. Telecast presented by John Deere Gator, as Justin Allgaier now has led 60 laps. The most laps led have been Christopher Bell, 92. He led the first 92 of 94 laps of this race, and then speeding on pit road put him in the back. But Allgaier, 61 laps led now for Allgaier with 24 to go. Allgaier's making sure that nothing breaks on that race car, as he is coming up on running some great laps, still has a 2.5-second lead. And already Tyler Reddick is starting to think a little bit differently about how to attack this race as well. Listen into his radio.
I know it's probably pretty obvious, but just want to make sure we're okay if the 7 wins, right?
Yes, sir. We are okay if the 7 wins. The 98 is the next one behind us.
That's the point scenario, but what about the fuel scenario? They've asked Tyler Reddick again to back it down. His crew chief Randall Burnett has said, hey, I want you running 29.30s, and that's about 3 or 4 tenths slower than what Justin Allgaier is running. They're kind of thinking in the 2 camp, the 7 car might be in trouble fuel-wise. I don't know if they know exactly what's going on, but the 2, again, playing it very conservative today. In fact, Richard Childress said on the radio a moment ago, I want him to go even slower. I don't want any risk being taken right now.
You guys remember how Chase Briscoe won his race earlier this year at Iowa? Did the same thing they're doing today. They didn't take tires at a late yellow when everyone else did. They had that set of tires in the pits. Caution comes out at the right time. He puts those tires on, drives his car all the way to the front, and wins the race over Christopher Bell, who had dominated most of the day. He's doing the same thing here, only with 20 laps to go. I still think there's time. Steve, how many laps do you think he needs for those tires? 10 laps, 15 laps? Does he need the caution right now?
I think he has a few more laps. Basically, he's going to restart about 10th, assuming everyone does what I think they'll do for pit road. 10 laps, it's a wide racetrack. He probably needs at least 7, 8, 9 laps. So I think once we see 10 to go, it's going to be very difficult. But for the next 10 laps, the 98 is still in a good position right here. I have to hand it to Richard Boswell. I think he's called a great race to try to save a set of tires. You see on the left-hand side, when everyone put tires on, 98 right there, 0 tires. He came at 118, fuel only. So he's good on fuel, but has that fresh set of Goodyear tires in the pits.
Only 11 cars right now in the lead lap, with Noah Gragson being the last car on the lead lap.
So the other concern is, we keep talking about the 98. Well, the 22 of Syndrich has the same opportunity. He has a set of tires as well. So it's not going to be clear sailing for the 98 because he's going to be racing the 22, because the 22, if he can win the race, then he's in to Miami.
And there's 7 cars in the lead lap that took 4 tires that last caution. So if the caution comes out, the first car could come out on tires and restart 8th. And that outside lane with new tires in the 4th row, you could get it done from there, because these cars have slowed way down. These tires will not take off anywhere near as good as stickers.
So the question is, does Justin Allgaier come put a cold set of scuffs on? I don't think you can pit from the lead. I wouldn't. I would make him try to chase me down, but the concern is, what if other guys come and pit? Now you have fresh tires starting in 4th. I don't think Allgaier has a chance of holding off fresh tires only 3 or 4 spots behind him.
Steve, when Reddick is talking about slowing down so he can save fuel because he doesn't know if he can make it all the way to the end, Allgaier's in the same position. He has the same manufacturer. And so Allgaier's in a situation, should he, with this 2.8-second lead, should he be backing it down, maybe conserving a little bit of fuel to make sure he doesn't run out of gas?
Same manufacturer, but a different engine provider. While they're both Chevrolets, one is from Richard Childress Racing, one is from Hendrick Motorsports. So I don't know, but that man right there is the only guy that truly knows, and Jason Braddock shows about as much emotion as he normally does.
So watch this.
You just saw it. Yeah, he's
shifting at both ends of the racetrack now.
Exactly. He's shifting all the way down here also in 1 and 2. He hasn't been doing that. Right here, boom, there it is.
So that tells me that there's been 0 communication about fuel, because that definitely burns more fuel. Jason Braddock, we just showed him on top of the pit box. He could have been watching a movie, as calm as he is. I know he's not like that inside, but he's doing a nice job. You see him right there. Got all the radios going. He's listening to everybody. But I have here nothing, Kelly, about any sort of communication when it comes to fuel.
Not between this driver and his crew chief, at least that I've heard. It sounded like Justin, if just a couple of laps ago, was wondering when other guys might have to come start making their pit stops to top off if they weren't good to go. The only other discussion I've heard of note perhaps Justin was running a line that he thought might be killing the right front tires, so it sounded like he kind of had to adjust where he was running on the racetrack just to conserve those tires. But as you said, we get a caution, that could certainly come into play.
And I don't want to sound silly here, but actually running out of gas for Justin Allgaier is still okay, as long as he doesn't bring out a yellow. He's okay if he runs out of gas, coasts to pit road. He has points. It isn't a must-win for Allgaier. He just cannot have Briscoe or Syndrich win. So I understand our concern about fuel, but the truth is, if he leads to 1 to go and runs out of gas, he's fine.
Yeah,
it's just not what you want to do.
4 to go.
Well, even then.
Well, but even then, so there's.
I mean, he has
there's
so many
25
major point lead.
Yeah, there's 25 right now that are above 4 laps down. So if he goes all the way down to 25th, remember the points when they were running on the racetrack where neither was out front was about 27 points. So if he can stay within 27 positions of the 98 of Briscoe, then you're right, Steve. He is still fine. And Syndrich looks.
Well, he's passing Briscoe
here.
So
yeah.
now Syndrich instantly said, guys, you've been talking about Briscoe. Don't forget about me. I have fresh tires in the pits. I'm just needing a chance to put them on with 12 laps to go. That's what Justin Allgaier is hoping for, right? He's just trying to count these laps away. We keep talking about the what ifs. What if it just runs green? And what if Justin Allgaier wins by 2.2 seconds? 5 wins a year ago.
Yep. And how about momentum heading to Miami?
I mean, the belief that he can win. He was within laps of winning at Bristol and a tire went down. He has been close. A great car at Bristol in the spring burned up a hub. Justin Allgaier has never won a playoff race. Could this be his first? It'd be great timing.
Marty, he's going to have to go through the 2 of Tyler Reddick, though, won't he, when he gets to Miami?
Well, he's certainly excellent there. Reddick winning the championship at Homestead-Miami last year. And when he asked his crew chief Randall Burnett a moment ago, why are we having to save so much fuel? Here was the answer.
Yeah, just save me all you can here. You got a 10-second lead on the guys behind you, and we're not racing them guys in front. We're just being overly cautious here.
Overly cautious, something you don't hear on the 2 radio very often from an extremely aggressive driver, but they want to make sure they can make it to the end. They're not sure if everybody else can.
Bravo, Randall Burnett racing the situation. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of assumptions in fuel mileage. Did we get it full? Was there air in the system? He isn't racing anyone, so why not? Why not just save some gas?
Randall Burnett will be moving up to the Cup Series with Tyler Reddick as he moves up to the 8 car next year in the Monster Energy Cup Series. Tyler Reddick winning the championship a year ago in the Xfinity Series, looking to defend that title. Under 9 laps to go now for Allgaier. A few more updates. We go back to Dave.
Rick, Austin Syndrich runs 6, but it won't be enough to get him through to the championship 4. But think about what he did do right today. When there was a mistake, and it was his, speeding on pit road, he didn't compound the situation. He didn't drive so aggressively coming back through the field that he had a wrecked race car. That's a gain for him today, but he wishes it was more, Parker.
And Dave for Chase Briscoe in the 98, and that team, the 22 got pretty loose there. Going up the racetrack using the PJ1. He told me before this race, if they don't make it through, this race will not define their season. He said, you know, when we look at this season, what we did at Kansas, the position we were there, when we had that wreck, we would probably find ourselves heading Miami. We know as a team we could compete at Miami if we were able to make it through. It doesn't look like they're going to have that opportunity, but definitely doesn't feel like this race will define them. Michael Annette in the 1 car is running in 9th, and his team told me if they don't make it through, they're focused on 2020. This last 2 races of the season is about building this race team towards 2020. They felt like this was a huge step forward this year. If they can continue that momentum into 2020, they could be a real championship contender, Kelly.
That looks like Noah Gregson's also going to come up short from the championship 4, but this rookie still has a lot to be proud of this season. He said he has really learned and grown a lot throughout the year, and he felt like he did everything he could to prepare for this race. So he said no matter what, he can kind of rest easy at night knowing just that.
We've talked a lot about scenarios for the 7 of Allgaier. One scenario we haven't discussed has come into fruition, and that's the 00 of Cole Custer. He's just really good on the long run. Between traffic and good lap time, the 00 has cut the lead to just over 1 second. 5 laps to go. The 7 of Justin Allgaier is going to catch lap traffic. Will that slow the 7 down enough to give the 00 a shot?
00 is doing that 0.2 a lap quicker. with 5 laps to go, a second behind.
Do the math. Yeah,
that's about
he's
there.
right there. He's going to have to get past him, though. That will be the one thing that Cole Custer will have to do if he gets to his back bumper. Coming up now on 4 laps to go for Allgaier.
Well, the 7 has traffic all in front. He has the 19 just out in the distance, but then look down in the entry of turn 1, 4 and 5 different slower cars. There are multiple grooves here, but if you catch them at the wrong time, Jeff, it can continue, just kill a lap time.
Especially on old tires. You know, Justin Allgaier and that 00, they both have really old tires. And when you get hung up next to somebody on old tires, you just don't have the grip that you would with newer tires, and it can kill your lap time.
If out in front of the 7, there are cars everywhere, 2 wide through the dog leg. What is Justin Allgaier going to do as he catches them? He'll catch a wave here in the middle of 1 and 2. They're literally 3 wide in front of the leader.
And now they're coming up on 2 laps to go. Allgaier has to fight his way through. As he's able to do that, Cole Custer trying to close the gap. Brandon Jones, he's not going to give him that inside line. Allgaier has to check up. This is the gap between 1 and 2. Now just 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go, and the lead down to 0.6 of a second. That's striking distance. There he is. The 00 only 4 or 5 car lengths behind.
Look how far Cole Custer drove in the corner. Very aggressive.
Oh, and Brandon Jones won't give him the spot.
No.
Races the 7 off the corner.
Fighting him back. So Allgaier trying to get by him.
So watch
Brandon
the 7
Jones
car.
becomes lap traffic.
Watch the 7 car right here. Oh, he's able to clear Brandon Jones. That's a big break.
1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank. Justin Allgaier yesterday said this could be the most disappointing season, even though we've been consistent and have a record number of top 10 finishes. We need to win races.
Now the question is, we talked about fuel. Are the calculations right? Only a half a lap to go. Is there enough fuel in the 7 to finish?
Will this give him the momentum to potentially get a championship? He comes off turn number 4, and Justin Allgaier wins at ISM Raceway.
This is excellent job, man. We said we needed to come here to win. We did what we had to do. You guys are awesome, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Crew congratulating crew chief as well. And you see the emotion there with Allgaier.
Homestead, boys. Anything.
You guys are awesome, man. I can't even begin to tell you how awesome this is.
A championship is in front of him. Now the championship 4 is determined. It will be Christopher Bell, Justin Allgaier, both getting into the championship 4 with wins. Cole Custer and Tyler Reddick will get in based upon points. So Justin Allgaier advances to the championship 4 with today's win. A long time coming for this celebration. The 33-year-old from Riverton, Illinois. 5 wins a year ago. In 2019, it has been a victory drought. 39 starts between his last win and today.
He didn't need a win today to advance, but I think the win has changed their outlook on Miami. Not only are they going with a shot to win the championship, now I think they believe they have a shot, a real shot, to leave a champion a week from today.
11th different driver to win in 2019. It's been dominated by 3. 3 drivers have been better than all the rest. Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick, and Christopher Bell. They have been gobbling up the wins all season long, but it was Justin Allgaier who outdid the pack today. Finished second in both stage 1 and stage 2 to Christopher Bell, but a mistake on pit road for Bell puts Allgaier out front, and he was able to hang on, save enough fuel, and win the race here at ISM Raceway. Helmet comes off, crowd can hear him, and Rutledge is there.
Rick, Justin Allgaier climbs out of the car after a drive of your life. First win of the season. You were locked in. You're going to battle for a championship in Miami. Congratulations.
It's incredible, man. This helmet right here, this is the first time I've won with Harper's helmet in the car. It means a lot. All these guys on this race team, I mean, to do what we've done all year, to have the speed that we've had, but not be able to pull it off. It's been disappointing, and these guys have rallied behind it. We said when we came in here we needed to come and get a win so we could go to Homestead, and we did that. So hats off to these fans. You guys are awesome. I love coming to this racetrack. We get to decide a championship here next year, which is awesome. Brent Fresh in agriculture, GB's been in the hospital a lot, and I know Rick and his whole family couldn't be here this weekend, and we've been praying for them a lot. And just to be able to go to victory lane and get them a checker flag means more than probably most people will know. So hats off to everybody Chevrolet, this whole junior motorsports team, man. We had a hot rod today. I don't think we could have beat the 20, but when he made his mistake, we capitalized on it. And that's what it's all about.
Man, I know it's been a hard year, a lot of ups and downs from your dad being in the hospital. You know, all the struggles you guys had, so different from last year. What does it feel to you to know that you get a chance at that championship?
Not only a chance at a championship, but to do it with momentum from a win. I mean, that's special. The weight on your shoulders, man, is just, you can't even begin to describe it. So really proud of these guys. I can't say it enough. I'm proud of these guys. I'm bummed my daughter's not here. My wife came out with me. My daughter's been sick, and so she stayed back at home because of the dry air out here. And I'm so bummed. So Harper, I love you. I'm sorry that you aren't here, sweetie, but we got the helmet in victory lane finally, and that's all that really matters.
We'll see you in victory lane.
See you there.
Justin Allgaier, your winner here today at ISM Raceway.
6-year-old Harper, I'm sure, is watching at home and is cheering on Dad. Her helmet, the design, gets to victory lane. And they talked about his dad, Mike. They call him Gator, so they call Justin Allgaier Little Gator. But his dad has gone to every single race throughout his entire career. And now Justin Allgaier is going to fight for a championship in Miami next week. Allgaier wins it at ISM Raceway. The 4 are set, and it's Miami. The next stop for these 4. Of course, they'll be racing against 34 or 35 other racers that'll be on the track, but whoever finishes in front of the other 3 will be the champion. And that's just 1 week away. You look at the youth there, 21 years old, 23 years old. The veteran there just winning today, Justin Allgaier, the 33-year-old. And then 24-year-old Christopher Bell. Chase Briscoe, the first one not a part of the championship. 4 is with Parker.
Right, Rick. He finished 8th. He led 14 laps. You guys tried alternate strategy. What more did you need to maybe go and get that chance to win and go fight for a championship, Miami?
Yeah, caution would have been nice there at the end. You know, we just tried something different, and obviously it didn't work out for us. Kind of like how this whole round of the playoffs has went. You know, the Kansas deal now definitely stings, but you know, God has a plan and a reason for everything. So I might not realize it now, but hopefully in the future we will. But yeah, just you know, I don't want this one race or this whole round to kind of define who we were. I feel like we proved here, especially the last half of the season, that you know we were capable of being that 4th guy. I just didn't get it done. So go down next week with a really fast Ford Performance Mustang. Feel like we can go there and win the race. Obviously, it doesn't do anything championship-wise for us, but it's still improving a point. So hopefully we can go there and do that.
How do you put this one away, being so close and being right there and watching that 7 sort of drive away from you there? I mean, what was going through your mind at that time?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to hold him off, obviously, as long as I could. And I made a lot of mistakes, honestly, when I was in the lead, just overdriving, and probably shouldn't have been looking in my mirror. But, you know, it's part of it, live and learn. And, hopefully next time I'm in that situation it doesn't happen. But yeah, it's definitely frustrating because you can see it kind of obviously getting farther and farther away and out of your fingertips. But yeah, I mean, those guys did a really good job. This is Justin's best racetrack, I would say, and it was one of our worst. So we knew it wasn't going to be easy, but we came here and tried, just didn't work out.
And that's why he has the rookie stripes, Kelly.
Justin Allgaier has now made his way to victory lane where he can celebrate with his team because he knows he's going to Miami with a shot at his first Xfinity Series championship. His second win here at ISM Raceway, but I have to believe that this is the sweetest. We talked earlier today, Justin, about the mixed emotions you've had at this place, the highs, the lows, the heartache of a year ago. How much redemption does this victory bring?
All of it and then some. You know, to have the year that we've had, it's not been a bad year by any means, but to struggle with the struggles that we've had and to not be able to get to victory lane, to come down to crunch time here, these guys, their mentality, what they do. Jason Burnett, I know right now he's, I can always tell his personality, and I could tell he was super nervous when we went in this weekend just because of what was at stake. But all the guys back at the shop, Xfinity, obviously, for what they do for this sport, Chevrolet, Brent Fresh, our culture, to get them back in victory lane at Phoenix is awesome. Hellman, Suaveman, Klondike, Armor, Cessna, Exalta, Northeastern Supply, all of our partners. To do what we did today, I mean, obviously I didn't think we had the best car. I thought Christopher did, but then we capitalized, and I feel like we got a lot of momentum going into next week. Just proud of these guys. Like I said earlier, I'm glad my wife's here. I'm so bummed my daughter Harper's not here to finally get her helmet in victory lane, but I can promise you we're going to celebrate when we get home tonight.
Hopefully she's watching at home. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The field started with 12, and it was round down to 8. And now it has been whittled down to just 4 who have a chance at a championship. Tyler Reddick has one. The other 3 are fighting for their first ever Xfinity Series championship. And we just heard Justin Allgaier mention we go to Miami with momentum. Is that something very big that he can take in there and maybe be the favorite going into that race?
Yeah, I think we are up for an incredible battle. I think that going to Miami, we've talked about those big 3 all year long and how good they can be at Miami. Now you add Justin Allgaier, the experienced guy in there with the momentum you just mentioned. Yes, he will be a threat. He hasn't had the speed all throughout the whole year, but over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, they've shown that speed. They've shown they can run. I still have to say I think Christopher Bell is a favorite based on how good they've been over the last several weeks.
I'm not sure I'm willing to label a favorite just because I'm not even sure having the fastest car is going to matter. You still have to execute. Last year, I didn't think Tyler Reddick could do it lap after lap. He proved me wrong right against the wall. Christopher Bell crashed a couple cars leading in, didn't quite have the best car, and then chose wrong with his setup, and he fell kind of out of contention late. I don't know. I mean, I think Justin Allgaier's experience will pay off. I think the momentum will help. I wonder how Christopher Bell will bounce back after today's disappointment. Had the absolute best car. 2 mistakes, really, from behind the seat, right? 1 speeding and then spinning out. Not sure he could have recovered, but it kind of got away from him. Tyler Reddick, they did everything right. They just didn't do everything special. Really, this is what it comes down to. 32 weeks of racing. Someone is going to have to be the best next week. Right. Someone has to win the championship, and I believe it's going to take a win in the race to do that.
And let's remember Cole Custer, actually, maybe a little pit strategy got him out of potentially winning the race a year ago and the championship. So we want to go to the Mobile One Peacock pit box, and we'll congratulate the car owner, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Justin Allgaier gets to victory lane. Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty awesome day for Justin. A couple cleanup items. John Hunter Nemechek with a great run today. Zane Smith with a top 5. I think you got to give most improved this season to Michael Annette. And you guys were talking about new crew chiefs going into next year. On the Cup side, I think Jason Burnett might be the best kept secret in that Xfinity garage. Hats off to Chase Briscoe and Austin Syndrich's crew chiefs as well. Their teams were taking a gamble. They had to take that gamble. It's worked in the past for Briscoe this year to win at Iowa. I thought it was going to work again. I was afraid of it. Didn't get that opportunity to put those tires on, but they had to put themselves in another position. They weren't going to win the race otherwise. Again, hats off for them guys for doing that. And Christopher Bell, a guy that we saw today race this race with probably the least amount of pressure as anybody in the playoffs, make mistakes, all right? We talk about how these guys are young and they're developing. I think they're all going to face some sort of adversity in the race next week at Homestead. Even the veteran, Justin Allgaier, is going to face some adversity throughout that race. It's how they respond, how their teams respond to that adversity, and how they handle themselves in the toughest conditions of the season will determine our champion next week.
Interesting point Junior brings up there. That mistake, 0.03 of a mile per hour over the speed limit, but when you speed, you're speeding. And he also mentioned Mike Lynette and what a season he has had. Let's hear from him. He's with Dave.
Well, Michael Lynette's run came to an end here. I saw him congratulating his teammate who moves on. So, Michael, what are the emotions right now?
Yeah, I mean, if we're not going to make it, at least Justin, won the race and won that fourth spot for himself. But we had a really good day, especially the first half. Probably still we need to find some speed to get to the 7 and the 20, but we were as close as we have been for a long time. So that was a lot of fun. Then Travis, he made the call that we had to do something different. Stay out on those tires, and can't believe we didn't get a caution late here at Phoenix. You always get one with about 40 to go, and then we have about 10 more after that. So thought for sure something like that would happen, or was really hoping to. But great run so far, great run through the season. We're looking at Homestead for a race win, and we want to be 5th place in points. So that'd be a heck of a run for us for not making the playoffs last year. If we could be top 5 in points this year, would be awesome.
Very strong 2019 for Michael Lynette.
Tyler Reddick ends up third. I know that last run wasn't a lot of fun, sitting there saving a bunch of fuel, but you get to go to Miami with another shot to win a championship. But talk me through that last run of trying to be patient, which is not your forte.
Well, on our My Blue Chevrolet, we were really, really fast there. And once everyone kind of started shifting a little bit, you're burning more fuel. And as soon as I heard we were 1 lap to the good and relayed the information that what we were doing out there, we just figured where we're at, might as well just be smart. I know we could go win a race, but we could also run out of gas and not go to Homestead. So we didn't lose sight of what's important. We're the last one in going to Homestead, so I don't know if that makes us the underdog again, but I'm okay with that.
There you go. And last year he showed what he could do. He went there and won a championship, trying to do it again in 2019.
Second place today, and coming on at the end was Cole Custer. How many more laps did you need?
I don't know, maybe 5 or so. I was giving it all I had. I just, I kind of had a problem. I was struggling with the brake pedal. I mean, I really lost it at the start of the run, and I just kind of had to save the whole run until like 15 to go. I just let it have it. So it just came up a little bit short. But, I think that was the best run we've had at Phoenix in a long time. So I'm looking forward to Homestead and, hopefully just do 1 spot better.
Tracks are very different, but does a good run here like you had today give you confidence going into next week?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, any kind of momentum you can take to there is going to help you. So I think we've had really good cars there the last 2 years. It's just a matter of putting the whole race together.
All right, Cole Custer will race for the championship next weekend.
That he will, Dave. And so the championship 4 is now set for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Tomorrow it will be the Monster Energy Cup Series that will determine their championship 4. And a huge day tomorrow on NBC. NASCAR America pre-race gets us started at 1:30 Eastern. Then 2 o'clock countdown to green, 2:30. It's playoffs from ISM Raceway right here in Avondale. And then post-race coverage at 6 o'clock, where you'll hear from all the drivers. Victory Lap, that's when you, the fans, can actually join in. That's at 6:30, both of those on NBCSN. As we look at the playoff leaderboard in the Monster Energy Cup Series, it is Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick. They've got guaranteed spots in the championship four. The fight then between Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson. Must-win situation for Chase Elliott.
And they all qualified right together. I mean, every one of them is right on top of each other. So as soon as the green flag drops, we're going to have an incredible battle with Denny Hamlin, Blaney, Larson, Chase Elliott needing to win this race.
And I really feel that Denny Hamlin is the best car in Phoenix. Going back and looking at practice, short runs, long runs, maneuverability at two different ends of the racetrack, that 11 car looks great. He made a mistake. It's been a great year, almost mistake-free. Made a mistake a week ago at Texas, spinning out, putting himself behind. It would be a huge bounce-back day. We saw Justin Allgaier ring the bell, go to victory lane. He did it from the 4th position. Can you imagine if Hamlin could do it from outside the top 4?
Kyle Busch looking for his 3rd straight win from this racetrack, and he won the pole earlier today for tomorrow's race. And look who made it into victory lane to celebrate with the team. He said he wanted to be in there so he could take pictures. Sure enough, Justin Allgaier has done it. He's made it into the championship four. Now it is a fight for the Monster Energy Cup Series to determine that championship four. It was a fight today. Mistakes on pit road kept Christopher Bell out. Tomorrow on NBC, an elimination race in the Monster Energy Cup Series playoffs. Who's going to join Kevin Harvick and Martin Truex Jr. as part of the championship four in Miami? Coming up next on NBC, your local news except on the West Coast. Congratulations, Justin Allgaier.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.